I'm going to play this clip for you that came from Tiffany Cross's show on MSNBC. And you can see right there at the bottom, it says black men could play a critical role in Georgia elections. So I'm going to play the audio for you. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because I'm not sure if it's copyrighted or not. So I'm just protecting myself. But listen to what filth comes out of her mouth.
Roland made a really legitimate point here. I will say, a lot of black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed, so then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your people, I just don't understand that. Away from your line with some of the black women is...
Sorry about that. I tried to rewind it back without it playing over and over again. Did you hear that nonsense that came out of her mouth? And she gave Kevin Samuels, a man who's been deceased since May, mention. And she mentioned Tariq Nasheed. So that lets you know right now, the new black media is being watched. They know we are here to stay, and they ain't not goddamn thing in a blue moon that they can do about it. I didn't even intend for this to be a full breakdown video, but since we are here, and the clip is only 41 seconds long, 41 seconds that I'll never get back, and probably not you either, I say we run that back and break down the nonsense she said, even though it's pretty self-explanatory.
Roland made a really legitimate point here. I will say...
First off, she started off wrong by saying Roland, as in Roland Martin, made a legitimate point. That's a red flag right there.
A lot of black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down.
It's not even feeling like we're ignored. We know we are ignored. And you, Tiffany Cross, are one of the ones that plays a role in that whole ignoring of black men. Like, I could tell by her tone that it comes very standoffish.
Sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point.
She had to be talking about herself. Her and, was it Joy, Saturn Rings Around the Neck, Reed? Those are two prime examples of black women that ignore black men. And there's so many others. Do I have to mention Okra, the Mammy Supreme Wigfrey? I mean, she's practically a catalyst when it comes to this. She practically wrote the book, and all of them read from that playbook, and they're still applying it to this day.
That felt ignored, but you feel ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed, so then you go and try to align with the oppressor.
She said, so you feel oppressed, but then you go and align yourself with the other side. As if the Democratic Party has done a damn thing for not only black men, but black people in general, giving this false sense of hope, and have been for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years. Probably even longer, but I'm just accounting for 60 right now. See, this woman is so encapsulated, I should say, in her talking points that she sounds and looks foolish. She does, and she is. She makes it seem like the Democratic Party is the party for black people. I don't know if she actually believes that, or if her pay is making her say that, or her paymasters are making her say that. But either way, it's a false narrative on all sides.
So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like...
What do I always tell y'all about a butt? She said, I'm not putting black men down, but what do I always say about a butt? BS usually precedes the butt. It usually comes after the butt. And you're about to hear that.
Not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please.
Some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting. Now, I can't speak on the behalf of Kevin Samuels because I didn't watch him like that. But I pretty much have an idea of why she mentioned him. If you look at his content and look to who he talked to, you know, a lot of black women didn't vibe with Kevin Samuels, even though most of the people that called into his show were black women. So apparently they were looking for some advice from somewhere, and he was the one that they went to. Are you jealous, Tiffany, that they didn't come to you for counsel? Maybe they didn't think you was a qualified candidate, or maybe you should have called in to Kevin Samuels. Maybe he could have gave you some counsel, but she's that type of person. You know, my nickname for her is a Sister Loudmouth, Big Sister Loudmouth. You know, Professor Black True calls her Tiffany Cross Eyes. Excuse me. But my nickname for her is Big Sister Loudmouth because it seems like she's always yelling. I'm like, you have a mic on. You can talk with an indoor voice. You don't have to project as if your mic isn't on. And then she went in there and mentioned Tariq, which is why I said at the beginning that they know the new black media is here and they are scared to death of that. But she mentioned Tariq, and she meant it was in a very negative tone, basically saying by us listening to Tariq, or for those who listen to Kevin Samuels, that we're wrong for that. That we should be listening to them and only them. I'm sorry, the old black media is gone. You may be standing on some limbs, but you're not standing on 2 full legs. And you have to know that. And if you don't know that, you know it now. Why would we take advice from the likes of a Tiffany Cross? Why would we listen to her? Or anyone that she has on this panel, especially Roly Poly. Because y'all can't see it because this is just a screenshot. But on the side of the panel, besides her, because it's her show, you had Roland Martin at the bottom, where he seems to always be at, because he's about the size and weight of an anchor. Then you have, I don't know who the other 2 guys were, but Roland Martin, you know, you can pick him up and you can point him out in the lineup. And usually that lineup is probably somewhere at a buffet.
Look at the truth and see what's happening.
But before I go any further, let me run it back a little bit. When she said what she said about Kevin Samuels and Tariq Nasheed, her face, you should have saw the look on her face. Her facial expression was one of disgust. Like, how dare you listen to the likes of them? You should be listening to us because we know the way. We're going to point you into the way of the promised land. It's almost like when a person eats something for the first time and they don't like it and they have that stank look on their face. That's how she looked when she said their names. It was one of, ugh. But you want black men to vote for these individuals so they can also look at us with disgust and have been looking at us with disgust and disdain? You want us to do all of this stuff and we're still not going to get anything in return except the look that Tiffany Cross gave when she said those 2 men's names of ugh. That's how she looked. Like it almost looked like it pained her to even have to say their names.
It's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said.
He said, look at the truth of what's happening and get in line with these black women. Did you hear that? Get in line. That was my hugest takeaway out of everything that she said. Get in line. Like she's our boss. Like, get in line or get out. Or was it check in or check out or ship? Whatever it is, it's a military term that they use. Shape up or ship out. That's what it is. She said, get in line. Why should we get in line, Tiffany? See, this is the thing. They want us to continue to vote for a party in a system where both of them don't give a damn about either one of us. A damn about us. You know, for years, it was always this thing of black women, you know, the backbone of the Democratic Party. Black women are going to be the ones that send us over the hump. Black women is, black women that. Notice now it's not the black women that they need now. Because for most of them, they have them locked in still, or some of them have fallen off. And I'm going to be more courteous and say and go with the latter rather than the former. It's still some of the former, but I think that there's some that's come to their senses and on with the latter as well. But now they need the single demographic that they have ignored, like Tiffany has even admitted out of her own loud mouth, that they have a disdain towards, the neglect, the benign neglect that they have shown these men. Keep in mind, I just talked about in my live stream about what Stacey Abrams said, black men's agenda, and went through it, and none of it was for black men. But she can go out and speak to a group of Latinos, legal or not, and tell them what she's going to specifically do for them. And we're just supposed to get in line, Tiffany? No, we're not getting in nobody's line. And it irks the hell out of her that black men aren't listening to the likes of her, man or woman. And truth be told, they're losing the grip that they've had on black women, quiet as it's kept, for such a very long time. They're upset about that, but they ain't gonna talk about that. This just shows you how desperate they are. They are fighting an uphill battle that they are bound to lose. Let me play the rest of this out.
Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your people,
that small margin of people that can be plucked away from your people. And Tiffany, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are one and the same. Neither one of them has our best interests at heart. If they're not talking tangibles and reparations, neither one of them is for us. That's just what it is. Point blank, period. I don't care how it makes her feel. I don't care if she goes into her green room and cries about it. As a matter of fact, cry us all a river. We don't care. And we're not going to get in line like you claim we should just because you said so. That sounds very slave masterish of her. And she even said it in her own admittance that she feels that, or she knows that black men have even been ignored by black women. Like I said, she's talking about herself. She's talking about your Joy Reids. And what's that former mayor down there in Georgia? I forgot her name. That's how she is to me. She's forgettable. Sister Girl. That was my nickname for her. That was another one. You want to make us forgettable? Well, we will play your game and we will make you forgettable. As a matter of fact, we've already been on that hill, and if we have to die on it, so be it. It is what it is. Now, they say all this stuff right now, if things don't go their way come November, the fangs are really going to show. Them claws are going to retract, and we're going to see their final form like this is goddamn Dragon Ball Z. Over 9,000. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are new. Click the bell to be notified. If for whatever reason the bell does not work, I upload my videos in a Premiere style, which means you can click the notify me button on the bottom left or right of the thumbnail, and the notification should come your way. The links will be down in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.